Welcome in everybody to the 49ers podcast. I'm your host, Matt Daniel. As always, joined by my co-host, John Gallagher. John, how are we doing today, brother?
Doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing,
Sounds like you're struggling a little.
2-2 is not where I wanted to be at this point,
No.
but
Not at all.
It's a long season, It's even longer season than it's been in the past. Usually Monday, Tuesdays, I go through, the first two stages of grief, so I've gotten
Sure.
I've reached an acceptance, I can see the little bit more silver lining than where I was sitting at a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, I think the silver linings are bright.
So let's start with the 49ers drop another game. The Seahawks, as everybody knows, they come up short. We come up short basically 2 weeks in a row, two very winnable games. It just seems like, it's easy to say the ball just isn't bouncing our way, but that's kind of what it's been a little bit of.
Sort of. We lost different ways. So the Packers, that, in my opinion, is a lot to do with, so there was a defensive breakdown late. But overall, through the span of the game, like we talked about this earlier, we're bad on third down. Our offense doesn't stay on the field, and we don't score a lot of points. So if our offense isn't staying on the field and we're not scoring a lot of points, we keep good teams in the game, and that's how we lose heartbreakers. And that's been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is just the lack of healthy running backs, and we're putting ourselves in poor situations. The difference between starting out 2-6 compared to 2-10, 2-11 is huge. In the NFL, it's a game of inches. When you're having a bad first down, a bad second down, you can't establish a run game. As we know, Kyle Shanahan's offense is based around the run game. Starts with the run game and it works from there. And Trey Sermon was actually pretty good last week. He had his best game by far. But having Elijah Mitchell back, and that way we can have a Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell combo, I think is much better than just having Trey Sermon out there by himself. So, whether or not him coming back, I think is going to be huge for the Niners.
Yeah.
So speaking of injuries, let me just go through these injuries real quick. George Kittle, shin, questionable. Trent Williams, shoulder, day-to-day. Jimmy G, calf, day-to-day. Then Elijah Mitchell, shoulder. Alex Mack, hand. Both of them are questionable. Robbie Gould expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks, and the 49ers signed Joey Sly.
Sly's got a big leg. That's cool.
Yeah, he's had some woes. At least we have an actual kicker. So Mitch Wisnowski isn't forced to go out there and punt.
He is certainly earning so he was punting, he made a tackle, he was kicking field goals. That's earning the 4th round pick if you ask me.
Yeah, Mitch Wisnowski has been playing out of his mind.
He's working for it. I don't love him as our field goal kicker, just not really his forte. But I will commend the man. He's fucking working, right?
For all of the I wouldn't say hate, but he went pretty high for a punter, so he's gotten a little bit.
We can say hate. We can for sure say hate.
For all of the hate, it's starting to come back around. He's starting to earn,
dude, he's
earned a little bit of respect around
special teams weapon NFL. For sure. Yeah, he's making tackles. He's been kicking it hard, like fire. He's got a big leg this season.
And we've been pinning him deep. And
right.
Trenton Cannon had probably the worst special teams game I have ever seen.
Yeah,
he fumbled it. Then on a kickoff,
the double fumble. The
double fumble. Then the kickoff where the ball bounces at the 1, he lets it go and it bounces back, and then the perfect pump by Mitch Wisnowski, and instead of he grabs the ball and then barrel rolls into the end zone. Yeah. What is he doing?
So well, so he's not been a Niner for a while, right? Like not been on the team for very long. It just doesn't get it, and he's probably why he's, was a practice squad designate and then, brought up in our time of need. But there's probably a reason why he's not, a starting, on the starting roster regularly. And he showed it there like that. He didn't look ready. He had flashes. He had some special team little flashes, a little bit. Where you're hey, neat. But that's probably just he showed just enough to get you a practice squad spot. And then he showed you why he needs to be on the practice squad for, probably a bit longer.
Yeah. So hopefully, I highly doubt he's going to be returning kicks next week. There's
Yeah.
I mean, fool me once, fool me twice.
Well,
fool
they've
me
had
3
Ayuk
times.
in and out too.
Yeah, Ayuk doing punts. I mean, they had Debo do a kick at the end because it was just like
Why
someone
not?
who can hold on to the ball. I mean,
Right.
fuck it, put Kittle back there. He'll hold on to it.
Yeah.
So let's talk Stephon Gilmore. That's kind of been the hype around the 49er verse lately. So the Carolina Panthers in the 2020 third sixth. When you saw the release, did you have any hope for a potential 49ers?
Not really. I like that player a lot. He's really good. But I also do think that his best days are behind him. He's coming off an injury. The Patriots felt pretty comfortable with the young guys over him. It's a big deal. I think they're saying a lot also saying a lot with what they were willing to accept for it. I'd be surprised if Stephon Gilmore is going to be that productive for them. I will say though, the Panthers are building kind of a neat secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will say it's kind of been a thing where Bill Belichick, lets go of a guy and everyone's kind of like, what's going on? And then somebody picks him up and he's not the same guy that he was,
Yeah,
so.
And then they're like, oh, maybe this guy that's won all those Super Bowls knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, when your secondary is literally bleeding, Josh Norman's coughing up blood.
Right.
And, all pro corner is on the market for 2020.
A while ago. Like, when was the last time he was all pro?
2 years ago.
But then got injured.
And then last year he had a not as good of a year and he was injured, I believe.
Okay.
But I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, 75% of Stephon Gilmore. I mean, Dante Johnson's getting reps for us. It's not worse than that. Josh Norman is nowhere near his all pro days, and he's probably our best corner outside of E-Man right now.
Yeah, I just don't know if you're getting real production or if you're just throwing more of the same in the pot, right? And then just like stirring it around.
Yeah, I just have a really hard time imagining that he's not at least better than Dante Johnson. There's just no way.
Fair. That's very fair.
But at the same time, you're also going to be paying him like he's still.
That's what I'm saying. Is he that? Yeah. Is he cornerback money? Free agent acquisition signing money amount better than Dante Johnson? Tough to say.
Yeah, and it's just another day of the 49ers not doing anything with the cornerback position worth. Not spending money in the cornerback position, not spending draft capital on a cornerback.
Yeah, the Asante Samuel pick just screams at me, dude. It just screams so loud.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to keep screaming as long as Aaron Banks doesn't do anything. And Asante Samuel keeps playing good, so.
Which he is. Fucking killing it.
Yep. All right, so let's talk a little bit about last week. So at 2-2, how are you feeling overall? Are you starting to panic? What is the outlook for the 49ers? Do you think it's, are you looking at it from with optimism, it's a long season, or are you starting to panic a little bit?
So I was panicking when our cornerbacks were depleted. So that was, in terms of like Super Bowl hopes, that's the thing that'll make me panic and then think like, maybe it's not our year, because you can't really go into a Super Bowl with the secondary like we have. But I am incredibly optimistic with our offense. If Trey can put this together, and he does start and he is putting together, we can make a similar run to what the Chiefs did with their great offense and not very good defense. Like, the Chiefs won by staying on the field for a very long time with a great quarterback and scoring at will. If Trey Lance can do that with either his legs or the weapons we have, which, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, there's no reason other than our offensive line, if that holds up. I'm incredibly optimistic on what our offense can start doing. We saw 4 weeks. We'll say 3.5. We saw 3.5 weeks of, the most touchdowns scored was 14. We threw 2.
What do you
against the Packers?
The Lions, we scored a lot more than that.
Okay. At the quarterback position, we'll talk about that.
You mean Jimmy? Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I think Jimmy has 5 touchdowns, so
okay.
2 was the most. Yeah.
So we saw 2.5 from Trey, just either running it or fucking slinging it. Now, if he can harness that a lot, we saw erratic behavior, no doubt. But we also, we saw third downs get converted, 2-point conversions, getting 4th downs being converted. because he just has that X factor that keeps us on the field. And I'm hoping, this is optimistic hope, that our offense can start operating that way.
Yeah. And it, like you said, optimistic hope. I mean, and I think you can really tell like what kind of fan someone is based on who they want to start and how optimistic they are about things, because the optimistic person is going to say, okay, well, I mean, everything we have based on Trey Lance is based around optimism, essentially. Everything we saw from him was, oh, this is what he could be, because overall he wasn't very good, which isn't a knock on Trey because he's the youngest quarterback in football. He had moments, but he was also insanely inaccurate. He was missing. I mean, there were plays where I'm just like, bro, I could run for a first down, and he's hesitating, which is fine.
Take it easy there.
I mean, take
it easy.
I mean, there were times where I'm literally like, I don't know. He needs time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not even saying Trey shouldn't start.
In a game plan where they were thinking Jimmy's running this, he scored more. He was more productive. He kept the offense.
But you also have to think the
longer.
defense is prepping for Jimmy, and Trey Lance also comes in behind when the Seahawks kind of stepped back a little bit towards the end, and that's when Trey Lance showed success.
They were trying to kill Trey.
Of course, they're not going to stop, trying to tackle him, but their secondary was taking a step back.
It wasn't like
defense didn't have the same amount of pressure.
But it wasn't like zero coverage prevent. Like,
I'm not saying it was zero, but it was definitely a softer defense.
They were trying to get after him, and we just saw plays that Jimmy could never make, those types of third down conversions. Like, we are now showing a new facet of the offense that we have not had, while also showing mistakes, definitely. But we can fix those mistakes and keep the new facet of the offense, rather than hoping Jimmy, the 8-year vet, gets way better in his 8th year, right? Because he's still not that, like, Jimmy at his best. Like, when we go to the Super Bowl, the game plan was not to get the ball, not to make him the hero, not to have him throw very often. Like, we had such a run heavy approach in that Super Bowl because Jimmy's not that guy. And like, we have an opportunity now to develop that guy. And like, that's what's exciting.
And I completely agree with everything you're saying. I mean, once Trey starts clicking, it's over for the rest of the league. And that's essentially, what we want and what we're hoping for to be able to come from all of it. I'm just saying, like, right now, all of a sudden Trey Lance isn't going to, all of a sudden become an elite passer tomorrow in 7 days.
Like, we saw Mac Jones struggle weeks 1 through 3. And like, while they didn't come away with the win, the Patriots and Buccaneers, Mac Jones is looking good. So like, Mac Jones's struggles early in the season have directly influenced his better play against a great defense. Tampa Bay is not a bad defense. And like, they were coming for him too. So like, I am totally on board with, get the rookie out there. He's gonna struggle. That happens. That's very few rookies step in at any position and are then dominant, to an extent to where you say, oh, absolutely, he's the absolute alpha of the team. Like, that it's very rare. Yeah. So him being able, like, Mac Jones being able to show that proof of, like, if you're in games and you struggle, every Monday in film, you're going to go over it. Like, that's what I want Trey Lance doing. If he is struggling in a game, I want Shanahan circling it on tape and then saying, this is what we're working on today. So then come next week, that's not what he's struggling with. And we saw that recipe with Mac Jones. I think it'll work with Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is a lot more dynamic. So like, we can see some pretty neat things moving forward.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I mean, he's not going to get better, at this point sitting on the bench. He needs to go out and he needs to get his reps. And, that's how he's going to get better. That's how Mac Jones got better. That's how we've seen improvements from Zach Wilson. We've seen improvement from Trevor Lawrence.
We'll see Fields. Fields had kind of a weird game.
I think Fields is a good quarterback. I think
Me too. Me too.
My only thing is, I do not want to go into this bye week 2-3 and 0-2 in the division. And Trey Lance was debatably the least pro ready of the 5, according to a large consensus of NFL scouts. And I don't like to think I'm smarter than NFL scouts. I think there's a reason that Jimmy has been starting as much as he has. And I just think I want to win this week. I'll worry about next week. and we can get Trey, the time he needs. But I want to be 3-2 going into this bye. We can give Trey the reins. He can have 2 weeks to play against the Colts, who aren't that good. And then after that, I think it's the Bears. So it's nothing like crazy. But right now, we're playing an undefeated division rival. And it's not just like, okay, let's let Trey develop. Okay, let him develop tomorrow. If Jimmy's healthy, he gives us the best chance to win. He's always plays good against Arizona. He really hasn't been that bad. His issue with Green Bay was they had a better game plan than we did.
We'll see
with
how
Seattle, he started out really well. He was pretty much perfect his first couple drives.
The first drive. And then it was we were no longer converting. He threw the pick. It was a very flat offense. So like that's the recipe for these heartbreakers.
Yeah, and I just think Jimmy gives us the best chance to beat the Arizona Cardinals. After that, and I just don't care after that. That's what I care about now. But if he's hobbled, I don't want them to hobble him out there.
Yeah, even so, like, I mean, Matt Stafford not hobbled. Like, they showed that they can get, they can make a non-mobile QB vulnerable. Like, Matt Stafford was lighting the league on fire before he played Arizona Cardinals.
Kirk Cousins also completely shredded them. And I mean, Jimmy G's closest comparison in the NFL is probably Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah, but I would say that Kirk Cousins is a tier above.
I think they're in the same tier. I would say he's a little better.
I don't know.
I mean, it's close. I mean, it's arguable. I mean, like Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins. Like, I think that's sort of like the tier that Jimmy's in.
Derek Carr's playing a tier above.
Derek Carr's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, I would say I would put him a tier above. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could put Jimmy in the same tier as Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. I think he's one below them.
I think he's at the bottom of that tier because I think the tier. I mean, let's go to our quarterback tier episodes. I don't know. Even imagine that, like, say in a weird world, the Vikings played the Chiefs that year in the Super Bowl. I don't think Kirk Cousins is relegated to 20 dropbacks. I mean, Kirk Cousins in primetime is garbage. So fair. If he's in a dome, right? If he's in a dome, at a 125 start time.
But not even 125, just a dome. You just put him in a dome. Those are the numbers I want.
All right. Well, yeah, and I definitely agree that Kirk Cousins is better. I don't think the gap is that large, though.
It's not that it's that large, but it is like there's a tier barrier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just want the 49ers to get back to 49ers. I want a dominating run game. I just wish Raheem Mostert was healthy. I can't wait for Jeff Wilson to get back. It's going to make a huge difference.
We're going to see a different Niners moving forward because we don't have what run game are we going to lean on? Like, I understand we want to be a good running team, but we don't have that. Like when the Atlanta Falcons were doing it well and lighting it up, they were passing. They were Julio Jones getting targets on targets, run 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, but even that was set up with Devonta Freeman was the RB1 that year, and Tevin Coleman was like an RB18. So like they did run running backs.
True, but that balance of run pass, it wasn't skewed the way that we are currently, so heavily favoring the run.
Yeah.
So I anticipate, because we now have, like, in my opinion, a fucking gunslinger. You saw the throws. If he can throw it anywhere in the stadium, right? If somebody's open downfield, he can absolutely hit him. Right now, the thing to focus on is going to be his accuracy, his touch. But when Debo was open, that was a touch ball. I understand Debo was the widest fucking open you could be. I know, I get that. But in an opportunity where somebody is the widest open, and usually people will rifle that in incredibly hard, he did give that one some touch. It was a nice little lofter that Debo then cradled and ran for the touchdown. It was neat.
Yeah, I mean, he made the throw. You can't
made the throw.
He made the throw. So
right.
I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't want to be labeled a Trey hater because I love Trey and I think Trey is going to be fucking fantastic. I just want to win so badly this week. And
okay, so
he's going to have to be a better passer.
Let's do this.
Can't win passing like that.
If we beat the Cardinals with Trey Lance and we go into the bye, and then it's announced that Jimmy's healthy because he rested up during the bye, do you want to start Jimmy?
No. The second Trey Lance is a starter, Jimmy G's done with the 49ers.
Even because he's probably going to start with the injury. I understand starting if he beats him in practice, but he'll probably start against the Cardinals because Jimmy's injured.
I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility that Jimmy might come back. I mean, if Trey's struggling, but I don't want that to happen. if Trey Lance gets announced a starter, I just want it to be Trey Lance's team
from then on,
even if he sucks, because that's
like
just
that.
what I
That's
want
what
it to be.
I want that too.
You know, because I don't want him to come out and be like, okay, maybe he's not that good. Jimmy takes back over, and now it's like, what are we even doing? Did we have a quarterback controversy? I just want, okay, Trey, go develop. You know,
I feel that.
You know, learn from your mistakes. I want them to be able to be okay with his mistakes at the same time, you know, because that's going to help him be better. I don't want the 49ers to boo him because he makes some rookie mistakes.
I don't think they would do that. Oh man, I fucking hope they wouldn't do that. But
I mean,
like,
booed, I don't know.
But Trey kind of did, like, you know, not a great performance against Seattle. Kind of sucked, right?
Yeah.
But his kind of sucked, scored 2 touchdowns, rushed for 41, converted on 3rd down. So his floor, his kind of suck is nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can build on that. And then his, like, all of a sudden when he's playing pretty good, that, like, he's throwing for 2 touchdowns, rushing for 1. He's keeping plays alive. He's keeping the offense on the field. Because right now the recipe for the 49ers to win is not our defense. We can't. Who are we going to cover? Our cornerback room is moonlighting as a hospital ward. We can't play the style of defense we want to. So we need to be an offensive team. We need to be able to score points. And Trey Lance gives us the best opportunity to do that.
I mean, at some point, something does need to change, you know? And I mean, what I got from what was happening is that it's not Jimmy's fault that our offense is struggling right now. And like, I know that Trey adds another dimension to it. So like that could be the spice that we need, but it's also just something just seems to still be off just in general.
The Ayuk thing is weird still.
Ayuk is not really playing. I mean, Kittle's playing well. Debo's playing out of his mind. Debo's playing at an all-pro level.
Out of his mind.
So, I mean, let's talk Kyle Shanahan for a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think that something is going on with Kyle? Do you think that is he doubting his play calling? It seems like there's some issues with play calling going on, and I just don't really know what it is.
I don't know if it's issues with his play calling on offense. On offense. I mean, the plays are there a lot. We check down a lot. And then we throw short of the 3rd down line a lot, so our offense gets off the field, and like Shanahan's no longer in charge of those plays. And then our defense has had some lapses, and it's not all on D'Amico because I mean, shit, who's our number 1 quarterback right now?
Yeah, E-Man.
You know, and he play, like, you see things you like, and then you definitely see things you do not like, and that's just what we have right now. We need an overhaul in our cornerback position, and it doesn't look like we're going to get that soon unless we just make, you know, we got a trade deadline coming up, and unless we're fucking rapid fire and making moves, we are not going to win against teams that like to throw the ball and are aggressive through the air. Like, we just can't cover it. Yep. And even so, when we say like, no, don't even worry about that, we'll rely on our pass rush. Like, well, that's exactly what we said going into the Green Bay game against a decimated offensive line and against a good quarterback, against a good scheme. He's going to get the ball out before we can get there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it seems to be, teams lose to Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. You know, they're Hall of Famers. And our biggest weakness, like you said, is our cornerback position. And there's no shortage of good quarterbacks that we're going to be playing, because we get Kyler Murray 2 more times. And we get Matt Stafford twice. We get Russ
Wilson again. Yeah.
You know,
they're good.
I mean, I'm hoping that K1 can come back and he's going to add some stability to the slot. You know, and our defense has been better than I thought it was going to be when I first saw the injuries.
It's been our linebacker play for me that's been really, really nice.
Yeah. Fred and Aziz and Dre when he was in. Getting Dre back is going to help our corners out a lot because he's a really good coverage linebacker. So, man, I don't know. Arizona looks really good. Arizona's, I believe, the last undefeated team.
Yeah.
We always struggled against Kyler. The difference was their defense was trash, but their defense seems to be better.
Doesn't team trash this year? Damn it!
Yeah.
And I thought it would be, and it isn't.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be, man. I'm worried about it a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to go into this bye week 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come into this week 2-2, but here we are. So, I mean, you can't predict injuries, and our team you can say is bad luck. We've just we get beat up with injuries, but at some point you have to be able to say you have to eventually start winning. It seems like injuries has been a sort of scapegoat for the 49ers since outside of the 2019 season. It just always seems to be, well, they're hurt, well, they're injured. It's like, okay, well,
yeah, I agree with
it's
that.
football. Eventually you got to start winning games, and it's frustrating because now we're in year 5, and now it's just
you do got to start winning. But so when the same players get hurt, right? Like Jimmy went out with the knee, and then he was often injured kind of afterwards with either the ankle or whatever was ailing him. But like Mostert is probably somebody we should have been thinking about replacing a season ago, maybe 2 seasons ago, because he's so often injured and somebody that we think that is like we rely on. It's like, okay, but his availability has been very, very poor. As much as I like the player, as much as he is great when he's on the field, we haven't addressed the hoping aged Richard Sherman and Jason Verrett are going to fix it all. Like, I understand that when they're on the field, they're great, but one's aging out. The other one has been so often injured for entire seasons that he's got more time off the field than he does on. Yeah. Like
he's the Jimmy G of cornerbacks.
Sure. So it's just, I don't understand those decisions. I don't understand the decisions where we've shown that if we have competent people at those positions, we can be very, very dominant. And then to know that those people at those positions are the ones are kind of our repeat offenders in injuries. And then those aren't the people that we address in replacement or, getting the next man up. That part is annoying.
Yeah. And it's tough. They talked about it on the broadcast a little bit. Just like Russell Wilson has played like 100 and something 50 plus games, just doesn't get hurt. And it's just like, it's so frustrating when it seems like people are falling over left and right, including your quarterback. And, that's another thing I do want to address with Jimmy. It's just like, I understand it's not his fault he's getting hurt, but like, we need to be consistent with who's behind center,
Yeah.
And that's
the
biggest reason why I'm like, maybe it's time, because we can't just keep flip-flopping between quarterbacks is not going to be a recipe for success.
No. But I mean, Wilson helps mitigate the injuries a little bit by being mobile. Like Jimmy can get rolled up on, right? Like the line can move towards him. If the pocket collapses on him, he doesn't really escape it very often. Russell Wilson does kind of avoid those types of hits because of how elusive he is. That's a double-edged sword though, because you saw Dak Prescott leave the pocket last year, and that fucking ankle going the wrong way is not good either. So that's, you pick your poison.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be tough. I think I would say it's a must win, but it's definitely a game that we need to win, in my opinion. So
it's definitely a trial by fire for Lance. Like this is absolute, like it went sink or swim for sure against Seattle. Here, Trey Lance, go in. We're losing. We only have a half, fucking good luck. So that's one thing to go like, okay, full game against the Arizona Cardinals, the undefeated Arizona Cardinals right now, division game. It is definitely going to be a fucking test.
Yep. The Cardinals are 5.5-point favorites. It's played in Arizona. The 49ers are very familiar with there. We finished the season out there. Just looking ahead. So next week we do have a bye week. And then following that, we got the Colts, the Bears, the Cardinals again, then the Rams. So we got a little bit of a tough schedule there. It eases up and we get Jacksonville, Minnesota, Seattle, then the Bengals, Falcons. So, I mean, there is a little bit of optimism to have. And then we play the Titans and Texans. So outside of our division, we actually have a pretty easy schedule. So, I mean, there's a little bit to be happy about, and to be optimistic about. So it's not, a little bit of a silver lining. Jeff Wilson should be coming back soon. Jermichael Hasty should be coming back soon. So there are a few things to be optimistic about.
Definitely.
So do you have anything else to add going about Arizona or from last week before we get into Pick'em?
I would just say the thing with Arizona, and a lot like the offenses that you mentioned going forward, like the teams you mentioned after kind of our bye aren't necessarily that good, but their offenses are kind of aggressive. Indy's not that aggressive, but the other ones that you mentioned do kind of like to fucking either throw it or run it down, people's throats. So the way you mitigate offenses that like to get aggressive that way is, you're aggressive yourself on offense. And I think that, if Trey Lance is the guy, we are going to be able to stay in games differently. We're going to see a different way of how we stay in games.
Yeah, and we know about the Kyle Shanahan loyalty program. And do you think that he is going, if Jimmy's cleared to play, do you think he starts him? Do you think it's your opinion that Kyle will start Jimmy, or do you think he'll start Trey if Jimmy's cleared this week?
If he gets, in my head, if he does get cleared to play, he probably does get a start, but then he's pulled in a series. He's pulled in 2 series. Like I don't know if you're actually, if you're telling me on Wednesday that it still hurts, and then you're going to go play an NFL game and expect it not to hurt, that doesn't make sense. Right. So it makes more sense, especially because we have the bye. He's got 2 weeks rest now. Fucking he can heal up.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, you said earlier, if Trey does start, you don't want to flip flop. Yeah. So, Alex Smith didn't really get the reins back after he got concussed. It wasn't necessarily his fault. He was playing well, but I do think that we're just going to be moving into the future.
Yeah, and I don't really know how much of it's going to be like. Is it going to be how well Trey Lance plays? Is that going to be the deciding factor? If Trey Lance comes in, is he going to make him, earn it, or is he just saying, okay, now it's Trey Lance season?
Well, say we do lose to the Cardinals, but it's like 35-42, right? And it's just a shootout, but overall the defense can't really cover, Kyler Murray because it's Kyler Murray. So Arizona Cardinals offense is pretty good. What are you doing then? We lost the game, but we've scored more. You see, say it's 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run for Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. And we're in that game. Oh, well, say 3 passes and a run.
I think if we start Trey, we just run with Trey for good. I want Trey to be going into Indy. I want Trey to be our starter. So,
but you don't want to lose to the Cardinals. I get it. I don't either. Mm-hmm. But if we see that we're matching firepower, it's a 35-42 kind of game, then that's what I want. I want the Niners to look like that.
Mm-hmm. With the
exception of the defense, I want to then start focusing on our defense.
Yeah.
Don't let up that many points anymore.
if Trey Lance plays well, if he doesn't play that well, I just think it's Trey time once he comes in. I just don't. If Jimmy is his shin or his calf still really hurting, he just doesn't get cleared. Trey comes in, he absolutely bombs. Then maybe, but I just
bombs no touchdowns, throws 2 picks,
can't throw. He's inaccurate. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's just not ready to play an NFL level. Mm-hmm. Then maybe, but I just still don't think so. I just think you make him learn from it and move on.
I agree with that.
Because at that point we're 2-3, 0-2 in the division. Mm-hmm. You just gotta let it. You just gotta let it ride.
Let it learn. Yeah, let him because you're seeing Mac Jones develop with a similar type of every week's a new trial by fire. Uh-huh. And he just had to go toe to toe with Brady. And I don't know if you watched that game. He looked really good.
Yeah. Mac Jones has a good, all of the rookie quarterbacks this year have shown flashes. Even Zach Wilson played pretty well last week. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just time. We'll see what happens. It's not going to happen. It's all going to depend on what happens. If Jimmy comes out and he plays really well and he shreds the Cardinals, do you then still want to move on to Trey?
If Jimmy shreds the Cardinals, so what's shredding?
I'm 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
So has he ever done that?
Yeah, he has 3 or 4. I think he's done it against Arizona before, or against the Saints last year.
It might have been 2 years ago. I know the game
2 years ago. Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
I don't know, because even though like that's an absolute ceiling game for Jimmy, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely something for most 99% of the NFL.
But
that's
not
good. That's a
not
good for
the
game
type,
from Mahomes.
but like not like the Josh Allens, the Lamars, the Mahomes, the like.
I mean, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's a good game for Mahomes or anybody in the NFL.
I mean, Josh Allen was just like he just casually threw 4, right?
Okay. Well, let's say Jimmy throws for 4.
That's pretty good. If he's throwing 4 touchdowns in a game and we're not turning it over and we look like that, then yeah, you just got to keep doing that.
So Jimmy does have a still chance to win over your heart.
He does. But again, like he would have to string together ceiling games, like comparatively to his career, and like that. I mean, prove me wrong, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, mediumly good game from Jimmy. I mean, we probably win 12 games. So I mean,
not with this team. I would agree with you if our defense is on, we have our cornerbacks, and it's a situation where everything is firing on all cylinders. But medium well, Jimmy, I think is what we've seen these first few weeks, and we just aren't that good on offense. We don't score very often, and we don't stay on the field very often.
I think we could win 12.
Okay,
it's a medium well, Jimmy. But I mean, who knows? We might never see it. If he's hurt, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's get into.
I wonder what.
Time.
I do wonder though how he feels about this start or not start, about this calf injury.
You mean he's thinking like maybe if I don't start
if I don't start, is that it? Did I take my last snap last week? Yeah.
I mean, it's got to go through his head.
It's got to.
It's going through everybody's head. It's like, especially since 7 years ago, it's very similar situation came up and he did not get his job back. So
nope.
All right, so let's get into picks. Last week, John popped off, went 12-4. I went 10-6. We're very neck and neck, 37-27, 35-29. So let's get into it. Rams, Seahawks. You will go first since you won last week.
I know that the Rams are probably pissed they just lost, but Seattle at home is a different beast. I'm going to take Seattle.
I'm going to go Rams. I think it's going to be a good game. I mean,
yeah, me too.
The way the NFC West plays each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I really see it going either way. So Jets at Atlanta.
Look at this sloppy game.
Man, this is going to be – I'm going to go Atlanta, though.
I think you have to. They're a better team on offense. Both teams suck. Both teams are not playing well. But Atlanta at least had, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson's playing out of his fucking mind. They have weapons to where I think, they can outscore the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. Green Bay, Cincinnati.
I like Green Bay here. I think they're gonna I think they just we saw them heating up against us, and then I think they're gonna just fucking get hotter.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Detroit at Minnesota. I'm gonna go Minnesota here.
Yep.
Yeah,
kind of have to, man. What's Detroit even doing?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Pittsburgh and Dem. Wait, who's Dem?
I don't know.
Dem Boys, the Cowboys?
Dem Boys. I actually have to look it up. I don't even know who it is.
Who are they playing?
I'm probably trying to write Detroit, and then I mixed the two up.
I thought Detroit was playing Minnesota.
Yeah, I know. I think I had.
Oh, I got you. I
was typing it. Yeah. Where are we at? Denver. Oh, so I was well off. Denver at Pittsburgh.
Denver against Pittsburgh. Well, Denver is what? Drew Lock Denver? I think it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't know how Teddy is, but I'm still going Pitt as well.
Yeah. Even though, man, that quarterback play, that offensive line in Pittsburgh is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be.
I figured they had the weapons to just kind of like shadow it a little bit, but they
doesn't look good, man.
No, it does not. Miami at Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Yeah, I gotta go Tampa, especially still no Tui yet. And Tom Brady's played Miami so many times. He just always beats them. So New Orleans at Washington. I'm going to go New Orleans here.
Yeah, I kind of like Washington for an upset.
Okay. I think it will be a better game. I think New Orleans is both teams are kind of trending down.
Yeah, New Orleans doesn't look as cool as I thought they were. And like they
Yeah, well,
needed to bring in Taysom Hill to score some points. Like it just doesn't, and they're not using Alvin Kamara very well.
yeah. I think
They
that
don't
week
look
one,
as cool.
yeah, I think that week one game was more of a just the Packers being off
Not
than it
ready.
was.
Yeah, Aaron
just
Rodgers
not
is on
ready.
vacation all off season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Philly at Carolina, I'm going to
In
go
the game.
Carolina.
Yeah. Even with McCaffrey out?
Yeah, I think so. McCaffrey practiced today, so he might play.
Ooh, that's cool. I got a fantasy team or two that would
Yeah.
rejoice.
Yeah, me too.
Oh
yeah.
man. I kind of like how Philly plays right now. They lost a close game to Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Philly.
All right, pulling the trigger.
Mhm.
All right, Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Oh man,
Who you got?
I don't know. Urban Meyer redemption game, is that like? Is he like what the fuck, man?
He's playing to keep his job at this point.
Uh
Man, is Julio and AJ Brown going to play? Because it seems like that team.
I think AJ Brown was limited.
Okay.
Oh man, Julio was out. Tennessee doesn't look good outside of Derrick Henry.
I mean, the Jets did just beat them. I mean,
let's go Jacksonville, man.
Right.
I want James Robinson going. I want Visca going. This is going to help
still
my
going
team, my
Tennessee.
fantasy team, if that's real.
New England at Houston. I'm going to go New England.
New England.
Bears at Raiders. This one might be a pretty good game.
Yeah. We might
is Justin
see.
Fields going to have his breakout?
Well, I mean, we might see a game plan where they ask him to really kind of open it up. They didn't really ask him to do it against Detroit, but they did. They just had a game plan to win, which is fucking sweet. And he had some big throws.
The Raiders defense does suck.
Yeah, but dude, the Raiders in that Vegas stadium, I'm gonna go Raiders. Yeah, their home field advantage, I think, is real.
Yeah, I'm going Raiders as well. Cleveland at Chargers.
Great game.
I'm gonna go Chargers. In LA, even though they don't really have a fan base, I'm still gonna go Chargers. Friends have looked kind of meh lately as well.
No Chargers. They just played the Raiders, and the Raiders' run game looked okay. You got to worry about teams that, like, if they could run against the Chargers, and then the best run team comes around.
Yeah, they can really run. Yeah.
Let's go Chargers, though. I think Mike Williams has a bounce back game. I think they're
I hope so.
More people, more weapons.
Yeah. Giants at Dallas.
Dallas is home. I'm gonna go Dallas. Even though Saquon looks kind of neat, it looks like he's getting back to form.
I hope so. I traded for him after the bad week. So San Francisco, Arizona.
Fuck.
Man.
We start Trey Lance and we win. Right. Niners.
You know, are we going backwards this time? Normally, you know what? I'm just gonna pick the Niners. I'm not really that confident if I'm gonna pick them.
Dude, Lance is gonna light the league on fire. He's getting a full week of practice. It's a game plan for him. He's taking all the first team reps.
All right,
we're good.
Heard it here first, folks. Bills at Kansas City. Man, that's
what a game! What a game!
This game's gonna be like 57-55. It's gonna be so many points. I'm gonna go.
It's a big trap game. It's a big trap game. Everybody wants to hammer the over.
It's gonna be like 7-10. I'm gonna go Buffalo. Sorry, Kansas City.
You wrote Buffalo.
I know, I did.
Buffalo on the road. It's not great. This is a Sunday night game, isn't it?
No, the Sunday night game's Indy Baltimore. Man, why does Baltimore get all these primetime games?
That's Sunday night? I thought that was Monday.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess that is Sunday night. That's Monday.
Okay, I was gonna say, dude, there's no way they made that Sunday over Kansas City, Buffalo. That's somebody should be fired. Okay. But let's go Kansas.
And Indy at Baltimore. I'm going Baltimore.
Blah. Indy at Baltimore, man. Wentz was kind of slinging it last week, wasn't he? This is Miami, though. Is Bateman playing?
I don't know.
Let's go Baltimore. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I like Indy's defense. Indy could upset.
We could. I think it'll be a good
Baltimore.
game.
Yeah. I'm going Baltimore.
Final answer. All right, that is going to do it. Hopefully, all of our questions will get answers on Sunday. Hopefully, we will be 3-2 next time we talk. Thanks for coming out, guys. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Sounds like football, baby.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away.